The Runescape map is split into chunks, 64 by 64 square blocks. My job, as the chunk account, is to accomplish every single task within that chunk, before rolling a random new one. So, let's join ChunkSmash as we unlock RuneScape one chunk at a time. Before we get into the episode proper, let's go over the current chunk goals as is customary. We have a bunch of quests and mini quests that we can progress or at least get started. We can start and complete the Buyers and Sellers quest, which unlocks the Thieves Guild. There's a bunch of follow-up mini quests associated with the guild, and we can start the first of these from Tiny Acorns, but completing that requires a rock, so that's as far as we can go for now. We can then start, but not complete, the Sheep Shearer mini quest. And we can finally progress the legendary Cook's Assistant quest that we started over a year ago, but we still can't finish it. We also have one new diary task in the Lumbridge area. We have 3 new monsters, the cow calf, the chicken, and the farmer. I have to kill each at least once, and they have 3 associated collection log slots. From chickens, we have the cornucopia and the offhand rubber chicken. And from the farmer, we have the confusingly named gardener boots. I guess the name farmer boots is already taken. These boots don't drop on the chunk picker, but I'm counting them as an untracked unique drop and we'll be making it a chunk task. I also have access to a hops patch, which is the first usable farming patch I have access to, and effectively unlocks the farming skill for me. The highest seed that I can plant into the hops patch is a wild blood seed at level 28, but unfortunately the grind won't end there. It gets a little bit complicated though, so I'll talk about this particular task later. Now, I think that's enough narration, so let's get back to real-time Smash. Okay, so it's time. Let's dive into my new chunk. It's referred to as Gros Farm on the chunk picker, but it's basically the northern half of Lumbridge, which is split over the River Lum. On the west side, we have Farmer Fred, who gives us the Sheep Shearer mini quest, which unfortunately we can't complete because the style to get into the sheep pen is just 2 tiles out of reach, and I can't get into the pen without leaving my chunk. We also have the entrance to the Thieves Guild as well, which we'll check out later. Now, the east side is arguably more interesting. Firstly, we can do my first monthly D&D, which is the God Statues minigame, and that will give me my first ever construction XP on the account. I can also now access the cows and the chickens here, which are part of the eponymous Farmer Groats establishment. And lastly, I can go as far north as about this tree, so I can't get all the way up to the fence here, but I can get into Potato Pen, I think, if I want to. I'm not sure if that's useful. And I have access to this hops patch over here as well, which basically unlocks farming for this account. And yeah, that's it. Let's get to it. Alrighty, let's get started with some questing. I can get the super large egg for the Cook's Assistant quest from Fred the Farmer's house, and whilst I'm here, I can start Sheep Shearer. Talk to Fred. Oh, that's a diary task. Chunk task done. And I will also ask for some work. He wants some black wool. It's a mini quest. Accept it. And that I think is as far as I can go because I can't get into the pen where the sheep are, which the chunk picker already knows about. Very smart of it. Now on the other side of the river, in the cow pen, I should be able to get a bucket of special milk, also for Cook's Assistant. Do I milk this dairy cow? Maybe not. Let me speak to the milkman over here. I need special milk. I'm after some top quality milk. It's for the Duke's birthday. Okay, I get to milk the prized cow. Oh, there's a bucket here, but I already bought my own. And I will then get some top quality milk, which is strangely suggestive. Man, the internet has ruined me. Anyway, I'll see if I can give these to the chef, who is currently having kittens back in the castle. Hopefully having some of the ingredients calms him down just a little bit. Yep, give him the milk. And the super large egg. I mean, he's really laying it on thick with the sob story here, but I feel like he could probably get his own stuff. It's not like he's playing a chunk account himself. Anyway, that is 2 chunk tasks done, starting the Sheep Shearer quest and progressing Cook's Assistant. Next up, let's quickly kill one of each monster. Firstly, I have to kill a cow calf. Seems kind of mean, but I don't make the chunk rules here. I mean, I guess I do, but you know. Next up, a chicken. Crazy than killing my first chicken after a year of playing the account. And finally, I can kill a farmer after accidentally pickpocketing him. Somehow that makes it even worse, right? And that's the chunk task as well, so kill one of each monster in my chunk. Now, I will be killing a bunch more farmers and chickens to get collection logs, and first up, I'm going to murder a bunch of farmers until one of them drops me their gardening boots, which are a 1 in 64 drop. Way, gardening boots, okay. I do not know how many I killed, but it was a lot more than 64 of them. These are, I think, what is called an untracked unique. There's no collection log slot. They have no stats, but you can wear them to look like a gardener, right? Do I not look like a gardener now? Anyway, that is chunk task done, and now it is on to the chickens. Alright, both the cornucopia and the offhand rubber chicken drop involve killing a large number of chickens, and I think this place has the highest density of chickens, so let's get started. And there we go. That's the cornucopia. Chunk task done. And the rubber chicken. Okay, that really did not take long. It took less than the time it took to get the farmer boots, by some distance. Now, the off-hand rubber chicken is just a gag weapon, I think. I can go punch a chicken with it. I think it's got like the worst imaginable stats. But now the cornucopia, maybe it's a bit more interesting. I've never used it, but reading on the wiki, it does look like it has some kind of utility. Okay, so the way it works is you can put food into it, like with this bread. And then once it holds 1,000 food, it's full. And then you can eat it. So it's like combining food into a single bite, like single inventory slot, but capped at 1,000 hit points. I mean, maybe that's useful. I don't think it is, but I don't know, maybe there's something I'm missing here, but I'm not sure I use this. Next up, we have another quest, Buyers and Sellers. Buyers and Sellers is a quest released back in 2010 as an introduction to the Thieves Guild, and it's crazy that I still think of this as a new quest when it's almost old enough to drink in the UK. In this quest, Darren Lightfinger, thief and aspiring guildmaster, wants to set up a camaraderie of thieves, but is light of a little starter cash. His solution is to steal a valuable holy relic from the long-suffering Father Ernie in the Lumbridge Swamp, or rather, his solution is for us to steal it and then give it to him, for free. Anyway, because we are literally incapable of saying no to people, we agree. Pretend to set fire to Father Ernie's house to distract him, or maybe because we're just terrible people, and then steal the chalice. No muss, no fuss, job done, and one permanently traumatized priest. The reward is 1000 thieving XP, 1 quest point, plus access to the base version of the Thieves Guild, which is not really useful to someone of my level. Also, if you have at least level 62 thieving, which I do, you have the option to teach Darren Lightfinger how to pickpocket, instead of the other way around, which nets you 2000 extra thieving XP and is a Master Quest Cape achievement. So that's a chunk task done that I didn't even know existed at the start of the episode. There are then several follow-up mini-quests in this series, which all involve stealing money to give to the guild so they can upgrade their setup. The first of these is From Tiny Acorns. I can start this, but I can't do much more, because the first step is going to the rock to defraud a completely innocent trader and... Wait, why the fuck are we doing this again?
Hans, are we the baddies?
Anyway, starting the mini-quest is enough to satiate the chunk picker, so chunk task done. We are hurtling towards another chunk roll, but we're not there yet. First up, God statues. It doesn't appear on the chunk picker, probably because I've turned off most minigame related options because fuck minigames, but I think this one should count because it's chunk specific. I can interact with this rough stone block that's been tantalizingly a few tiles north of my starter chunk for the past 12 months. Once a month I can help the intrepid gnome sculptor Copernicus Glyph build a statue in this location. If I can complete an incredibly taxing logic puzzle that would stump the average 5-year-old or OSRS player without access to Runelight, then the statue is built. Every time I build this statue, I always get construction XP, scaling with my level, equal to a large XP lamp, and then either prayer or slayer XP equal to a medium XP lamp. If I build the correct statue for the area, which is Saradomin for Lumbridge, I get the prayer XP, and if I build any of the wrong god statues, like say a Zamarakian one, a fanatic turns up who I have to kill to get the Slayer XP. Now, prayer XP is much harder for me to get than Slayer XP on this account, so I will always be picking the prayer XP. The first statue nets me level 3 construction and almost finishes up my current prayer level, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks to do this again. I will quickly note this is a monthly D&D. This is 100% time gated, and I will not be counting it as a valid method for training construction. I don't think I have any construction grinds that are level locked now anyway, they're mostly plank locked, but you know, just for the avoidance of doubt, not a training method. And that takes us to the final part of the chunk, farming. Now, I currently have level 8 farming, so I can plant Asgardian hop seeds into the hops patch. At level 13, I can plant jute seeds. Level 16 is Yanilian hops. Level 21, Crandorian hops. And finally, at level 28, I can plant Wild Blood hops. There are higher tier seeds that can be grown in hops patches, but the best I can do right now is Wild Blood seeds. Now, back in episode 10, I said I would be treating farming as a passive skill. It was academic at the time, I didn't have any farming grinds, but the idea is that farming is inherently a time-gated skill. I can plant some hop seeds, come back in 90 minutes, and hope they've grown. That's it, that's how a skill works. There's nothing I can really do beyond that. I can't typically play on mobile at work, so that would mean, basically, maybe harvesting hops patches twice a day, a bit more on weekends. Effectively what this ends up meaning is that the relatively short grind of 28 farming would end up taking almost a month. And that would be fine if there were some other chunk tasks I could be doing in the meantime, but there's not. I would just be logging on, planting some hops, and logging off for the day. For a month. So for this reason, I will now consider this chunk done, and roll a new one. But I will pinky promise to keep planting seeds every day in the hops patch whilst I do whatever the next chunk is. But there is a catch, because once I hit level 30 farming, I will have access to the flowers at Het's Oasis, which I unlocked last episode. This training method for farming is unusual in that it's one of the only non-passive farming methods in the entire game. There's no planting crops and waiting for them to grow, you just gather the flowers at a resource node in a similar way to something like mining iron ore. So, with all this said, I will officially stop making farming a passive skill as soon as I unlock level 30 farming and start treating it as an active skill like any other. Once I hit level 30 and can access Het's Oasis, I will then immediately train up my farming to be able to gather the highest level flower from the Oasis, which are hollyhocks at level 90. Yeah, level 90. It's going to be a big grind, but it's just not going to be a grind quite yet. So let's roll the next chunk. Okay, I am back at the chunk picker. You can see here I last rolled on May 9th, and despite what it says, it's not 0 days since the last roll because it's the 11th, so it's actually 2. Now, rolling Gros Farm opens up one new chunk directly north, Chunk 1, which for some accounts will be a big deal because it has the entrance, or an entrance to Puro Puro, which is generally considered like a really big power spike for chunk accounts and a really nice thing to roll. But I've already decided not to turn minigames or D&Ds that I consider to be non-chunk specific, like Vinesweeper or Shooting Stars or whatever, into chunk tasks. So for me, I don't think this chunk would be a big deal. My preferred chunk remains Chunk 2, the Alcarid Mine chunk. It unlocks Dragonstone Jewelry, so I can make an Amulet of Glory or a Ring of Wealth, or both, alongside a pretty efficient crafting method in terms of the gem rocks, and also my first herb patch. Chunk 11, which contains War's Retreat, is a close second, because War's Retreat is just like an incredible unlock in general, and the chunk also would allow me to start training Necromancy, which is a skill that, believe it or not, I've never trained on any other account, so that'd be really cool. The only real death chunk, I guess, remains Chunk 7, the Calphite Hive, which contains the Calphite Queen, and that would be bad. That would be bad. My only final comment before rolling is just to flag I've unchecked this chunk over here, the one directly east of the Maze Training Arena. I can technically enter this tiny sliver of it in the corner, but there's nothing to interact with, and it wouldn't even allow me to roll any other chunks. It wouldn't make anything else rollable. It would only lead to me having to backlog a whole bunch of tasks because I can't reach any of the content, and then when I finally do have access to it, I have to remember to unbacklog them and have to find them in the chunk picker, which is quite finicky and really annoying and not easy to do properly. So for now, I've just unchecked it. And that's it. Time to roll. I have been dodging death chunks recently, although I guess Het's Oasis will become a death chunk once I hit level 30 farming. Anyway, pick Chunk. The tension. Oh, Okay, well, it happened. Let's talk about my new chunk, what's in it, and why it's bad. Chunk 12848 is more commonly referred to as the Calphite Hive. Situated in the desert, it's fairly empty. It has some camels, some desert goats, a cactus or two, a crazy old man who screams nonsense. It's basically how I imagine Las Vegas. I mean, I wouldn't know, I've never been, but it's how I imagine it. Unlike, I assume, Las Vegas, it also contains a hive of gigantic elephant-sized bugs, the Calphites. These all exist in a subterranean tunnel system called the Calphite Hive. There are 4 types of Calphites here that get progressively bigger and more awful. Calphite Workers at level 58, Calphite Soldiers at level 65, Calphite Guardians at level 72, and the Calphite Queen at level 333. The Calphite Queen is the first real boss I've unlocked on this account, and she's going to be a challenge. Released back in 2004, she's the second oldest lootable boss in Runescape, after the King Black Dragon, and like all bosses, she has a collection log. She has 5 unique drops as far as I'm concerned. She drops the Lava Battle Staff, the Dragon Chain Body, and the Calphite Queen Head, all at a rate of 1 in 128. She then also drops the Dragon Two-Handed Sword at a rate of 1 in 256. And finally, she drops the Calphite Egg, used to unlock her boss pet at a rate of 1 in 2500. Now, it's this last one, the pet, that is the real challenge, because I could potentially need to kill the Calphite Queen thousands of times to get the drop. Now, the question is, how hard is the Calphite Queen? How hard is it to kill potentially 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 times? Well, I guess we'll see about that, but I think pretty damn hard. Let's go over her mechanics. The Calphite Queen is a multi-phase boss. In phase 1, she takes on her melee form. In this phase, she's immune to ranged and magic damage, so I'll need to use melee. In return, she uses all 3 combat styles against you, making protection prayers less helpful than I'd like. Once you do 40,000 damage, she transitions into phase 2, her flying form. In this phase, she's immune to melee, so I'll need to bring a magic or range switch. Again, she uses all 3 combat styles against me. In addition to this, her magic and ranged attacks have 100% accuracy for some reason, and her ranged attack also drains your prayer points. Again, because screw you, I guess. Her final mechanic is that her room is full of other, smaller Calphites, and she can summon more of them throughout the fight, because of course she can. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is that at least I didn't roll this chunk earlier. The Calphite Queen has been rollable since episode 7, and it's entirely possible I could have faced her with nothing more than some throwing axes and a dream. Instead, I since rolled the Shattered World Chunk, which unlocked tier 50 Slayer weapons for all 3 combat styles, and the Lumbridge Crater Chunk, which unlocked my first skill cape, the Defense Cape. I'm also a much more respectable combat level 114 compared to the level 84 I was when I first could have rolled this chunk. The other good news is that whilst KQ is going to be an absolute monster of a grind, she's not going to be without her benefits. The Dragon Chain Body will be a significant upgrade of my current best in slot for melee, the Black Plate Body. And the Dragon Two-Handed Sword will be an even bigger upgrade over the Leaf Bladed Spear. Assuming I go on rate, I should get both of these drops relatively early on, and will be able to benefit from them for most of the grind. And the final piece of good news is that the pet itself is not quite as rare as you might think, based on its 1 in 2,500 drop rate. This is because RS3 has a form of bad luck mitigation when it comes to boss pets. I'll talk more about this later, because I feel like this is already an exposition heavy section of the episode, but the result is that the true drop rate of the pet, as in the number of KQs I'll need to kill before I have a 50% chance of getting the drop, is more like 1 in 1,200. And the rate will only keep getting better as they go drier, making it extremely unlikely I don't have the drop by, say, 3000 KC. All in all, here's a complete list of the chunk tasks I now have. I need the following best in slot items: the Dragon Two-Handed Sword, the Dragon Chain Body, and the Lava Battle Staff. This isn't a best in slot combat item, but it is a best in slot utility item because it provides infinite fire and earth runes. I then need the following items to pad out the collection log: the Calphite Queen Head and the Calphite Queen Pet. I will then need to kill all 5 new monsters in my chunk at least once, the 4 new Calfights plus the Desert Goats. And I will need to complete all Calfight Queen combat achievements excluding speed tasks. I say excluding speed tasks because some of the speed tasks may simply be impossible in my gear, but any other combat tasks are fair game. Finally, I should mention my backlog tasks. I need level 55 farming for the 1001 Caridian Spikes Desert Diary task, which is to grow a cactus in Al Kharid and harvest the cactus spines. And then I'll need level 90 farming to harvest hollyhocks from Het's Oasis. These tasks will come off the backlog as soon as I get level 30 farming from my hops patch. And finally, I should mention that Ripper Demons are also still on the backlog. Technically, I need to kill around 30,000 of them to get the Ripper Demon pet, but practically this isn't possible because I can't even kill one yet. But I figured I should at least mention it so you know that I haven't forgotten they existed. There's no definite timeline for these coming off the backlog, but I suspect it will be some time before I can kill them. Anyway, with all that said, let's get on with the chunk and check out my first attempt at the Calfight Queen. Right, so I'm here, and this is something of a trial run to see if the Calfight Queen is even possible with my current stance and gear. Speaking of gear, let's quickly go over it. For phase 1, I've got my leaf-bladed spear as my weapon, and then for armor I've gone for a mix of melee and hybrid. I have the black plate body and addy plate legs, but for everything else I've gone for hybrid gear so I can use it for phase 2. That's the Mask of the Ganodermic, which is the highest level Slayer Mask from Shattered Worlds, the Skill Cape of Defense, and the Amulet of Defense. Spike Gloves are from Jacqueline's Slayer Shop, and then I got Insulated Boots, also from Jacqueline's Slayer Shop. In phase 2, I'll be using magic over range because my magic gear is better and my magic level is much better, so I have a Slayer Staff and then my Batwing top and legs. It's a pretty budget, scrappy setup, but it's the best I can do, I think, or at least it's good enough to get started. For my inventory, I've mostly just stacked it out with salmon. It's not the highest tier food I can make in my chunks, but I think it's probably the highest tier food I can make in bulk in this chunk, but I'll look into that. And then I have air runes because the Slayer Staff does not count as a rune source. I don't know how fast I'll go through these runes, hopefully not that fast, because in RS3 you don't really use runes that much. I've also brought a combat potion, which should help with my melee a bit, and finally I have 2 ropes. I should only need these 2 ropes the first time I visit the Calfight Queen's lair. I mean, honestly, I might re-gear after using them and get 2 extra salmon. Oh, also, I brought a sapphire ring. It doesn't do anything, but it makes me feel better having something in my ring slot. Okay, everyone in these tunnels is aggressive, so hopefully I don't get whacked before I reach the boss. Not that they seem to do a ton of damage so far. Okay, I chickened out. I figured I should have an escape route if things go south, so I brought some lore and earth runes, so I can teleport to Lumbridge if, I'm not going to make it. I mean, at least I'll keep my hardcore status. Actually, I have one more gear slot I forgot to mention. My aura. Not my metaphysical aura, the literal aura slot item you get in RS3. Now, I'm going for Poison Purge because I know that the Calfight Queen can poison you, and I think that the poison damage is pretty high. Now, Poison Purge doesn't stop you from getting poisoned, but it actually means the poison heals you rather than hurts you, so hopefully the aura will heal me through the kill. The problem is that the aura only lasts for 10 minutes, so yeah, I'm not sure how scalable this strategy is. Still, let's go. Alright, once I kill this little Calfight, I can use the rope with the entrance here. Nice. And how do I get in? Nice, okay, I'm in. So there's a bunch of Calfight Guardians in here. I will now turn on my Poison Purge aura, which only lasts 10 minutes. Now let's see how this goes. Oh, I need to trap minions. Okay, this isn't going too bad. The salmons are not good. And it's kind of hard to walk my bleeds without getting all these little Calfights on me because right now they're kind of blocked. Okay, phase 1 is down, and phase 2 should be easier, right? My magic level is way higher. I think I'm going to get the kill, and I'm kind of encouraged because if I can come down here and kill her once, then I can come down here and kill her 2,000 times. Is it going to suck? I mean, well, yes, but I can do it. Although maybe I can't kill her once because I am all out of salmon. My defense cape will bring me back to life once with, I think, 2000 HP, but it's only once per hour. I mean, I could also have brought a magic potion. I'm also out of prayer, which is not good. And I killed it! Yes! For a fire talisman! Oh my god, that is such fucking terrible loot. And I teleport out of here, like, right away. Alright, so I can kill the Calphite Queen. That's great. Poison Purge, was it good? I don't really know. Maybe Vampirism Ore would have been better. Maybe. Well, I mean, I guess a lot of things could have been better. I just don't know. I will bring a magic potion next time though, and I'll try again. Alright, this time, for whatever reason, went less well. I might die here, but I got my defense cape. I actually survived, just about. For a lot of sharks, so I mean, okay, that's not terrible. Can I just home teleport out of here? Do I have time? I mean, if I can home teleport out, that saves a lot of runes. I didn't really feel like I got poisoned at all. Is Poison Purge not doing anything? I should probably look into that. Editor smash here. Yeah, Poison Purge does nothing. The Calphite Queen does not poison you. I think my confusion came from the fact that the wiki recommends anti-poison. But that's because the Calphite soldiers and Calphite guardians on the way to the Calphite Queen can poison you. That said, the poison only does 68 damage per hit every 10 seconds, so even if I get poisoned, which didn't happen in either of my first 2 kills, it's only about 1,200 damage in total, which is less than 2 salmon. I guess Poison Purge heals you for the damage, so it's more like a 4 salmon swing, but yeah, not that impactful. This could be the first of many cooking levels because I am going through a lot of salmon. That is level 65 cooking. That is Casey number 3 for some more fire talismans, and this time I am testing out the Penance Aura. Stepped away from KQ for a second, and here we have my first ever set of Asgardian hops, which got sick like 5 times by the way, and you can see that they are not an enormous amount of XP. Now, I know I can give this guy like a sack of onions to look after them, but honestly, who has time for that? Anyway, this is the farming loop. Log in, find my crops are sick, cure them, and once a day get like 100 XP. I mean, it's just amazing. And KQ kill number 4 for 145 lore runes? That is nuts. I mean, that's more than I got in 12 months up till now. And here we have Casey number 10, and let me tell you, the Penance Aura is amazing. It's by far my best aura, hands down. Hey, and that's an achievement complete. Novice Speed Killer for killing KQ in less than 2 minutes 30. Novice Speed challenges are chunk tasks, but nice anyway. I am like so close to level 74 attack. If I just kill this Calphite maybe? Level 74 attack, amazing, very nice. That is like the tiniest amount of extra DPS at Calphite Queen. This is Casey number 25 for the Bug Swat of 3 achievement, which is for killing 25 Calphite Queens. We are making progress. Oh my god. That's 11 farming, and the first farming level in many months. I am completely out of food, which would normally be bad, but I do have my defense cape. Do I need it? Oh wow, it got procced. That is the first time I've signed here. It is a really nice fallback to have though. You know, if it wasn't clear from the previous clips of this episode, I go through a lot of salmon. So here's another cooking level, level 66 cooking. And level 12 farming. The gains are really starting to roll in now. Apologies for the atrocious UI, I'm on a laptop in a hotel right now, and that's the big 50 KC at the Calphite Queen. Seriously though, how does anyone play with UI like this? This is the default user interface. You thought this is the Calphite Queen chunk, but no, it's the salmon chunk, level 67 cooking. And level 13 farming. I might not be getting any KQ drops yet, but I'm at least making level gains. Also bumped into my nemesis again, Rompdasker 4, who taunted me with his inflatable mini pool as I'm just slumming it, sitting on the ground like an idiot. Oh, I saw the loot beam. Oh, baited. That is gonna get me every single time, by the way, the frickin' clue scroll. Same rarity as the dragon chain body, not that I'm complaining. Okay, I've decided to cut the episode here because I wanted to show you guys what the Calcite Queen grind is going to be like, but I also wanted to get into some more detailed theory crafting about it, and that's probably better for next episode. I definitely can do this grind, but it's going to be slow, painful, and if I go try for the pet, very frustrating. But I can do it, and I will do it. Now, if you guys have any tips or tricks, let me know in the comments. These clips are about 3 weeks old at the time of recording, but suffice to say, I haven't finished this grind yet, so any advice is welcome. The last 2 episodes have been kind of short, not so much in the length of the video, but in terms of the actual game time involved, which is just how chunk accounts go. Sometimes you roll a chunk and get to complete 20 chunk tasks in an afternoon, and sometimes you roll a chunk and spend 2 months fletching arrows, which only makes about 5 minutes of clips. Also, let me know if the audio quality is still okay. I had to tweak my setup again, so I'm curious to know if it's better, worse, or about the same as last episode. Finally, let's go over the levels I got this episode. In the Calcite Queen grind, I got 1 attack level and 3 cooking levels from cooking salmon. I then also started the farming grind, going from level 10 to level 13 farming. And I did my first ever god statue, which got me my first 2 construction levels on the account. Finally, I snagged some daily tasks and went from level 80 to 81 thieving, and level 10 to 13 divination. And that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the episode. It really means a lot to me and helps get the episode seen by more people. So, see you next time.